GamingBolt presents 15 dark secrets Fallout 4 characters are hiding from you. Fallout 4's world is populated by a bevy of interesting characters to meet and places to visit, but as is often the case in huge open-world RPGs and more specifically in Bethesda games, there's a lot going on in Fallout 4 underneath the surface that doesn't always meet the eye. The game is brimming with secrets, and some of them are darker and more messed up than others. In this feature, we're going to take a look at 15 such hidden facts. Cricket the Merchant. Cricket is a merchant you may have encountered while playing, but other than her odd name and her gaunt appearance, there doesn't seem to be much about her that stands out. As it turns out though, there's actually more to her than meets the eye. If you access the terminal in the Synth Retention Bureau wing of the institution's headquarters, you may notice a file named Known Informations. As you may have guessed, Cricket the Merchant is actually listed as an informant. Though she isn't a synth herself, she often helps the Bureau with tracking down and providing information on known rogue synths. STURGES. STURGES is probably one of the characters who gets the most screen time in Fallout 4's side stories. Not only is he one of the very first characters you meet in the entire game, he also becomes a quest giver as the game progresses, while he also has even more of a role to play in the Minutemen questline. But he's actually also a synth, as if you kill him, you can see that in his inventory there's a synth component, something all third-generation synths have, which is weird, right? STURGES is all around a pretty great guy, and hell, he even goes on to help you fight against the Institute. A synth gone rogue, perhaps? The birds. Some of you might look at this and go, wait, what? The birds are hiding dark secrets from us? And yeah, that's understandable. I mean, they're birds, right? Well, some of them, though, are not just ordinary birds. Some of them are UAV drones built by the Institute and act as spies to keep tabs on activity within the Commonwealth, from the sparrows to the crows to even some of the radgulls. The Institute truly has eyes everywhere. Lone Operator. Listening Post Bravo is a deserted former military outpost, but there's a rather interesting story to be found in here. If you manage to get past the master terminal and use the elevator to access the outpost's underground sections, you'll find memos that list the final activities of a lone soldier who was posted here. The soldier had been hearing some disturbing threats on radio frequencies and had also begun to hear weird sounds coming from the elevator. When he sent it for review to command though, it turned out that none of it meant anything, that there was simply nothing there to see, and the soldier had simply been driven mad due to his absolute and prolonged isolation. HOLT Combs and Tina DeLuca. Those who visited Vault 81 probably know about HOLT Combs, a resident of the Vault who runs a department store and raises a daughter with his wife Alexis. When you speak to Alexis though, she reveals that they once used to be happy in their marriage. As it turns out, there's a pretty specific reason for that. If players stick around to study Holt's schedule, they'll see that every night he has secret meetings with another NPC living in Vault 81, Tina DeLuca. And well, the implications are pretty clear. Mourning Raider. Usually when you think of raiders in a Fallout game, the first image that pops into your mind is of your character blowing a raider's head off, but this one is actually a bit more somber. Near the railway line close to the sanctuary, if you're wandering about at night, you might notice a raider who's kneeling down on the ground. He's kneeling down in front of a grave that's been freshly dug, with a shovel still standing in the ground a few feet away. The raider, who's mourning for presumably his raider friend, won't pay you any attention, at first anyway, since, well, he's in mourning. The Millers. Have you ever been to Big John's salvage yard in Fallout 4? You probably have, and right next to it is a rundown little house. This house, which used to be occupied by the Miller family before the nuclear war, actually had a lot of safety measures built in by the family. If you manage to get into the bunker underneath, you'll spot plenty of disturbing details. For one, there's two skeletons huddled together on a dirty bed, presumably having died because of a shortage of food and water. What's even more disturbing is that also in the bunker are two small graves, one marked with a baseball glove and another with a teddy bear. The Millers, it seems, had to have buried their children before dying of starvation themselves. John Hancock and Fahrenheit. John Hancock, as you might know, is the mayor of Goodneighbor, a town where he openly flaunts his involvement in the rampant criminal dealings that plague the place. He has a bodyguard as well, a young woman named Fahrenheit, who you might remember as well. But as per the game's files, more specifically the files about the character's relationship data, Fahrenheit is actually Hancock's daughter. This is a fact that is never mentioned in the game, but yeah, there you go, it's in there. Why? Why is it never mentioned? Why does it even exist? Well, ask Todd Howard. Arlen Glass. Arlen Glass, as you might know, used to work for a company known as Automatoys before the Great War. In fact, he didn't just used to work for them, he actually invented the line of toys known as Giddy Up Buttercups. Digging a little deeper into the game reveals that he was so consumed by his work before he got fired and had to be escorted off the premises and banned from ever entering again, he used to actively ignore his family, which included his daughter as well. When the bombs fell, he was still at work, while his wife and child were at home. The two of them died, but Arlen got mutated and turned into a ghoul, which is what he lives on as even now. Suffolk County Charter School. If you've visited the remains of the Suffolk County Charter School, you probably remember that it is a place that was infested by small pink little ghouls just running riot all over the place. Here's a twisted little piece of info though. Those are actually the ghouls of what used to be the students of the school. Terminal entries and holotapes all across the area reveal that in order to cut down on their spending, the school replaced their meals with an experimental pink, nutritious goo from the government. The kids started getting sick and started turning pink, but of course the school denied they had any hand in this. The pink ghouls, hundreds of years later, might disagree. DEACON. Chances are, if you've played Fallout 4, you probably know about DEACON. A member of the organization, DEACON is someone you end up interacting with quite a bit, but as it turns out, he's actually been spying on you for a long time. Ever since the beginning of the game, in fact. From having a shack that overlooks the entrance of the vault, to being conveniently placed in locations such as Diamond City, Goodneighbor, and Bunker Hill, DEACON is practically everywhere. What's interesting is the fact that him spying on you never ever gets brought up. Covenant. The settlement of Covenant seems all bright and cheery when you first chance upon it, which is why you instantly know that there must be something very wrong with it. And there is. There really is. The residents of Covenant have been trying to piece together a method of efficiently distinguishing synths from actual humans, and though their intentions are noble enough, the lengths that they go is far from it. Cruel experiments, abductions, and extreme violence are all just part of the process. Nick Valentine. Nick Valentine is a character Fallout 4 fans are very familiar with. He is a first-generation synth and was implanted with the memories of a real person, so as far as the synth Nick is concerned, he is the actual real Nick Valentine, as he used to exist all of those years ago, and the real Nick's memories are his memories. And boy, they're not good memories. Nick Valentine used to be a cop, and he was leading the hunt for an infamous mob leader known as Eddie Winters. Winters, though, decided to strike back against Valentine and gruesomely kill his fiancée. Magnolia. If you've visited the bar in Goodneighbor, you've probably at least heard of Magnolia. She works as a professional singer in the bar, and most who frequent the establishment know about her. But she's actually also a synth. If you end up randomly killing Magnolia, and really, who wouldn't, you'll notice that in her inventory is a synth component, revealing that she's actually a third-generation synth. A spy, a rogue synth, a synth who's had her memory wiped? We don't know, but it's definitely interesting, to say the least. Robert MACCREADY. Robert MACCREADY is a character that we actually encountered in Fallout 3 as well. Though he was a child mayor of the child-exclusive town known as Little Lamplight in Fallout 3, in Fallout 4 he appears as a mercenary who's embittered by his past after he was kicked out of the town he used to run. MACCREADY apparently met a girl named Lucy, and the two got married and had a son together, but he never told her about his past, concocting a story about him having been a soldier. Lucy, though, soon died a premature and grisly death at the hand of ghouls. She died never knowing the truth about MACCREADY, a fact that continues to haunt him. And that about does it for this video. If you enjoyed what you watched and want to see more from GamingBolt, you can always hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon next to it. That way you will never miss any of our videos.